We can see that when we run the simulation that there are boxes running through this simulation. And these boxes are called flow items or items. And they move from start to finish in our model. Now we don't actually, if I hit stop here, you'll notice that there is nothing showing in Q2, so it looks like nothing happens after processor 5. But in actuality, because the queue after the processor is connected to the sink and there is nothing holding these flow items from going straight from the queue to the sink, we don't actually ever see them stopping because there's no time associated with the queue. There's only time related to a wait if it's created from a bottleneck upstream. Whereas the processor, there is actually time associated with it. A really important concept in Flexum is understanding the importance of ports in each of the objects. When I run the simulation, the items or flow items flow into an object at the input port and they exit through the output port. Now the reason that that is so important is that we will learn to route our products through our production plant based on input and output ports. Now I just double clicked on this processor to bring up the properties box. I could have also looked under quick properties, but I'm always used to double clicking and opening up the window individually. And I can see a little bit more about this processor here. So in the initial window, I have a little bit of detail about the processor itself, how much time it takes to set up this processor each time a flow item comes in here, and this is currently set to 0, and how long each item will take to get through that processor, and this is currently set to 10. And if you recall in the beginning, the default units are seconds. If I go all the way to the back General tab, this is where I can see at the very bottom input and output ports. And it's kind of ironic that they are kind of buried in a corner, but these are very crucial in your building your simulation model. So if I highlight input port, I can see it says first input port is Q4. No surprise. So that is where these flow items are coming from. And if I select output port, it says Q6. So that tells me where these flow items are going to go. And once we have a more complicated model, we'll see why it's critical to understand all the time where your ports are connected to and from.